Today I'm going to jump right into the first speaker. We're fortunate to have the Jackals pitchers here. Their manager is Carey. Brooks is a former AAA player, 40-man roster guy. He spent a lot of years in time in camp in Major League Baseball camps. But Brooks has a unique experience, probably a little bit like me based on age and experience, to live this on a daily basis, be part of it and having seen it, but also the unique experience of being a pitcher and knowing what it's like. Brooks can tell you, but I know he's had a couple of games in a row of throwing 170-ish pitches. It doesn't happen anymore. And I'll let Brooks tell you a little bit about velocity now versus what it was years ago. So that quickly relates into what he sees on a daily basis. Enough for me, that's where we're going with this. Players stay as long as you can. Brooks Carey, manager of the New Jersey Jackals.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I'll apologize because I'm about as old school baseball person as you're going to find. These analytics and this computer right here, I don't use these things a whole lot. I do have an iPad that my wife bought me a couple of years ago, and I've used it 6 times. So I go on what I see, so I'm going to talk about a few things here. I'm going to go about 4 things here. And since we're talking about prevention of injuries and how to take care of your arm, I'm going to tell you a couple personal stories. Okay, not to elaborate on myself, but I remember in 1981 on a Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday night game in Rochester, New York, with the AAA Baltimore Orioles team. I pitched. It was either 11 or 12 innings, and we didn't have pitch charts, and we didn't do a lot of weight training, and we didn't do long toss. We stepped on the mound and we started warming up. So a lot of things have changed. Now you have these bands and all these other things that the players do, which I think is really good. But on that night, on Tuesday, I think it was 11 or 12 innings, since we didn't have a pitch chart, I had to go back to the office upstairs because we didn't have computers. You have to realize, when I played, we didn't have computers, we didn't have cell phones. There was no communication at all. So I would go upstairs and I need to count how many pitches I threw this game, because I think it was a lot. So I went upstairs and went through the scorebook, and I found out that I threw 178 pitches that night. But I won 1-0. So I was fine. I couldn't throw a baseball until 5 days later. I couldn't even hardly pick a baseball up. And the point I'm trying to make is, this is not how to have care and prevention of your arm. So the Sunday afternoon, we have a Sunday game at 1 o'clock at home, and it was either 12 or 13 pitches, and then I threw 187 pitches. So in the course of the week, I think I threw 25 pitches, 25 innings, and 360 pitches. So that was how we played the game back then. But the conundrum I'm in right now, Doc, is back then we didn't have pitch counts. We pitched until we couldn't get anybody out, and we had far less surgeries than we do now, I would say. Yeah. I don't know if they were detected. I think a lot of guys may have been pitching with torn tendons and a labrum, which I had that and probably had that too, but didn't know. Because we didn't have MRIs. All they had was X-rays, and X-rays don't show the whole picture in the thing. And the other thing, I think, when we're talking about more arm injuries now, back when I pitched in the late 70s and the early 80s, the average fastball, and I'm going to refer to Doc Anthony here. In the early 80s, I think the average fastball in the major leagues was 85.3 to 85.7. Okay, I don't know if you knew that. Now the average fastball in the big leagues is 93.7, I've read somewhere. And I think that's because all the relievers throwing 100 and the starters throwing 90, 92. So I believe all these injuries are, the arm's not built to throw overhand, is it? Right. Do you do a lot of surgeries on softball players?
Almost never.
Almost never. The arm's built to throw underhand, not overhand. And when you get to the point where you're throwing 93 to 98 miles an hour, the torque on the shoulder and the torque on the elbow and the, what do they call that when they have to slow it down? Pronating it, sounds like a good, it's better than the word I came up with. Okay, when you got to, deceleration, when you got to shut this thing down, there's a lot of things that could go wrong in here. These guys that are throwing 98, 97, 96 miles an hour are more prone to injuries than what we used to have in the past. We play 144, 162 game schedule, and there was, you know, if a guy was out because he had to go have elbow surgery, and I don't even know if they called it Tommy John then. And poor Tommy John's got this surgery after him, and nobody remembers he won 289 games. That's about it from me. I think I'd like to hear from some of these other guys that are more in tune with today's procedures and maybe workout programs and things that they do different in college than what we do in professional baseball. But thank you very much for listening.